So we have the calories in, calories out equation. Right? Everybody wants to debate this thing. Is a calorie, is a calorie, is a calorie, is it not a calorie? It's just fucking nauseating, okay? So this is the first law of thermodynamics, guys. So you have energy in. This is where we have to start. Equals energy out. What are some principles? The body always wants homeostasis, right? So if we want to drive not homeostasis, if we want to drive a change to the organism, it's probably going to have to be probably going to have to be a pretty big change, right? Okay, so let's talk about this. What is the main component of energy in? We just did it. It's perfect time for this talk. Food, right? So I would say the main component is appetite, and so hunger cues. Those are that's your main driver of energy. And I'll ask all of you a question here. Has anyone in this room ever been starving? Have you ever been starving? Have you gone 28 days without food? No one in this room has ever been fucking starving. Like, no one in this room has ever needed food. Every one of your clients is governed by short-term hunger cues. They're governed. This is why it's the worst place in the world to live. You're like, I don't even know if I'm hungry. Like, I'm constantly seeing shit that looks delicious. Like, wow. I don't know, literally. Like, Pepsi commercials run on like an eighth of a second. You don't even know. It's like, this shit's hitting you all the time. The average person gets hit by 500 advertisements in the US without their knowledge every day. Like, and so does this side, this energy inside, does it live above or below conscious control? Below. Like, so appetite is subcortically regulated. It's regulated at the level of the brain called basal medial hypothalamus. That is also the same part of the brain that regulates sex hormone function. We talked about GnRH yesterday. All those GnRH neurons live in the basal medial hypothalamus. Is that a coincidence? No. Remember, the point of humans is to turn energy into more humans. So we would guess that this system is incredibly intertwined, guys. Okay, so we have energy in, and then I'm not gonna get into the difference between like liking versus wanting, and like, just know that from a dopamine perspective, every one of your clients knows exactly where the ice cream is in the grocery store. Like, they know where to go to get all those hyperpalatable foods, and that is on purpose. Because that is how their brain is wired. Their hippocampus, everything is wired for optimal foraging. Like, you are gonna remember where honey is. That shit is so dense. If you didn't remember where honey was, you're not here anymore, okay? And humans are always going to want the most for the least, right? The person that's walking around with a pedometer just to walk around, it didn't exist like 10,000 years ago. Like, they were dead, okay? So we have all of this stuff. And so what do? What do nutritionists do with this side? Well, we try to invoke cognitive oversight. So I'm trying to dampen that subcortical system, that limbic appetite, hunger, cueing. I'm trying to dampen that with that prefrontal cortex, okay? And so what are our ways to do that? We have macros. We have lots of things. So let's talk about that. In my model, I have 5 rungs that people are going to use. That I use, that I think about. So the bottom, we have really blunt objects. These are called ad libitum diets. I don't care what it is. Vegan. You can eat as much as you want. You just can't have this. Keto, you can eat as much as you want, but you just can't have this. All right? Those are blunt objects. However you get it is likely how you keep it. So if you can't stay keto the rest of your life, probably not a good idea for you to go keto. Okay? So how you get it is how you keep it. So the next one is ideally where I would like, first of all, I wish my nutritional brain on no one. Like, an apple's 92 calories, 24.6 grams of carbohydrates. Like, I wish that on fucking no one. Like, how I think about food is completely stupid. Like, it's not meant to be that. I'm super over here. I'm super cognitive. You're not gonna take that away from me. I've had it drilled into me for decades, right? But I don't want my clients to be like that. I don't want my clients to be like me. Okay, so the next one would be a meal template plus intuitive eating. So that means that I build them a structured flexibility approach so they have some idea of portion control. And then what inevitably happens is I build them this, a meal template plus intuitive eating, and I'm like, hey, I want you to weigh and measure your food for 5 to 7 days. Then I call them in like 3 weeks. I'm like, are you still weighing and measuring your food? You're like, nah, but I think I got it. I'm like, cool, we are there. And it just naturally happens. And so if you have a weight loss client, you are going to need some level of this, guys, because you're trying to change homeostasis. This does not want to change. So you have to have some level of cognitive oversight. Anyone that says you don't is lying, right? But the only way you don't need it is what's on top of this, guys. What's on top of all of this? What supersedes all this shit? Environment. Cool. Can't spell it. All right, so we have environment is to me the biggest thing. If I can't change that, I'm going to need more of this. Right? So we have meal templates plus intuitive eating. The next thing we would have would be like a meal template plus weighing. And so in my weight loss clients, if they've never seen macros before, I'm generally moving back and forth in this rung of the ladder. I don't want them to get super cognitive of food. I want to see if I treat weight loss just how I treat strength and conditioning. Guys, if you're traveling for 3 weeks out of the month, it's not a good time to try to lose weight. It's not gonna happen. I'm saying weight loss because the majority of your clients are probably weight loss clients. They're body comp clients. I'm gonna talk about the other end of the spectrum when we get there. So we have a meal template plus weighing, and then we would have a meal template plus kcals and protein. And then the final one would be a meal template plus all-out macros. If you're trying to do something like bodybuilding, if you're trying to get to 6% body fat, you are going to have to live up here or up here. If you are a high-level athlete, you are probably going to have to live on these rungs of the ladder. If you're a weight loss athlete, I want you living probably on these 2 rungs with as much flexibility as possible.